Good morning, folks. Monday, the 28th of March, 2022. And we have equities continuing with the general uplift that they saw on Friday, back on the front foot. You're seeing the DAX here up 0.6%, stocks up 0.4, Dow just down 1 point or point 0.5, I should say, this morning. And oil certainly under pressure, down 3.8% at market. And I think it does lead into those lower areas that I'm looking at: 104.69s, 105.80s, that general area that I like for oil. At the moment, I'm working limits on the short side. Just up a little bit higher here, about 110 70s at the moment. So let's see if we can get on the train here as it gets all set to depart to the downside. Let's quit the chat though, and let's look at the charts. For the data slate though, I will say before we move over to the charts, nothing really of great importance today. Definitely this week, going to be bigger days to come. Probably consumer confidence tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and JOLTS job openings also at 3, both tier 1 data. Wednesday, ADP non-farm employment change and GDP out of the US. Thursday, UK GDP, but a German unemployment change, A55. And then let's see, we go into Big Friday, April 1st, NFP. So we get the April NFP on the 1st. Set to be big day. So probably best to kind of slow your roll for the week that's in it, and really pick your days for the trading. So tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, obviously, going to be the more interesting days. All right, let's have a look at these charts and see what we can see. So, yeah, on the reopen last night, we did hear talks that the Iranian nuclear talks were really progressing quite well. And with that, you saw this downside come on the book. We're down quite swiftly into this gap low area that has been filled. But we like to track these as we go forward. So 109 spot 95 is putting in the low of that push. A little bit of a pullback. I was trying to buy this here at the time. I did buy it. Didn't really get much out of it because it started to remain heavy. So I think it will remain heavy until we get back to into 105.80s, 104.69s, something like that. So for me, working the shorts, you always want to be selling it from a little bit higher above rather than selling on the lows. But there you go. Do I see buyers coming in and walloping this to the upside? No, I don't. Not well, notwithstanding headline risk, of course. And maybe the Houthis can get back to work at bombing facilities in Saudi. But apart from that, I think we're skewed a little bit to the downside, so we can load up the bus with the bulls, load up that trailer, put the bulls in, and then up we go. Still remaining confident for the big stuff, 123s and 135s to be seen this year above. So that's oil. As we cross over to the US session, we'll be looking at these US markets. Here's the NASDAQ for you. Talking again, don't mean to brag, but I am going to brag. Talking again about that 500 EMA kiss. Confident with the low here at that sort of excess low on the 19th of May 2021. So there we go. Now we found a little bit of resistance up here, 14,810s and a half. I think we can drift back down. Probably not. Now, probably not all the way back down to test the 14,437s. We did give that a good old rattle as support last week. You can see in the mid left of your screen here. I'm confident with the 50 EMA, 14,436, really the jump point for the market to push up into some of these higher prices that we've seen and into the 1410 halves. So we've got a doji there on the daily. Quite important to read your candlesticks quite well, or to be able to read your candlestick patterns quite well here. So doji signaling a turn from the top, but we have found some good support. So it may be a case that, if we come back down here, the buyers are really going to be holding this area. Should we press into it a second time? I don't think we're going to drop down there. In fact, there is this ledge on the Nasdaq. I'll just take a sip of coffee before I lose my voice. There is this level on the Nasdaq that was such a ceiling here from last Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, got broken to the upside, popped the cherry, pulled back. Now we're still holding in this area. I have a suspicion that if comes into the US session, we're holding this area, we're going to be continuing on up to the 200 EMA set above here, 15,113s at market right now. All right, that's the SPOOs or the Nasdaq for you. Get rid of that one. Let's also get rid of the Euro stocks. We're not going to be trading in that the US session, and look at the S&P 500. So just to note, we did just do a session on the Discord for the team about how I was wrestling with this tricky little market on Friday. This pullback, of course, coming in here. Actually, sorry, no, it wasn't this. It was this pullback here coming in at about sorry, it was actually the other one, was it? Yeah. Oh, yeah, over the open. So about an hour after the open, of course, we were on that 4 hour gap to New York. So yeah, massive pullback here, big rally in the VIX, then rebuying on the lows and then bringing it into the closing hours here. So that was my trade, and just lovely, consistent buying here on Friday. Um, Pivoting around the 45-25s, I think we can manage to stay buoyant and go up. In fact, the recovery of this market from that pullback there on Friday just feeds more into my upside thesis for stocks. So, Euro, or sorry, S&P. So, topside 45.64 quarter is the target here for the upside. Let's show you that on the daily bars here. Sorry, I got quite a dry throat this morning. Yeah, see here really, we've found the support on the 100 EMA below over 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Okay, so 45.25s is what we have as a ground for the market right now, and that's kind of this lovely ledge top here with the high of the 3rd of September 21. So yeah, I like this for support and to drive up into 45.64s, 45.77s half. But generally, if you're Sam North, you probably bought it down here and you're just kicking back, waiting for the higher prices and new all-time highs. So so you should be. So you should be. So shout out to Sam. Hope you're doing well, man. And then let's see what else on the Dow. Let's have a look on the Dow on the daily. Yeah, so so a key area here for the Dow, 34,702s. I like this area. For the bulls to stay on the bus, we need to hold this level 702s low, and I think we will. So 34,793s. I know a lot of these levels seem kind of silly and insignificant at times, but really, if you look on a weekly bar, all right, these levels become a little more relevant, right? So this actual red line should actually be as support here, and I'll show you why. Because essentially, as we hold this line as above this line, you can see demand. So supply and demand. So demand has started at this level 34,702s, should bring us up now as well. So we just need to be able to hold a bit of a floor here, and then we should be entering into a demand cycle that can bring us back up to 35,199s. That's a big move. Measuring that from where we are at market to there, it's 1.3%. So, well, relatively speaking, it's actually not that big a move. It might just look like it there because of the way my charts are configured. But yeah, look, that's the trade I like. The trade I like. What else? Gold. Well, with the bonds, I mean, look at the bond here. T notes looks equally as crap. But we are into major free fall area for the Bund and Tino's. In fact, I'll show you Tino's, um, which was really getting absolutely smoked on Friday. Led to a bit of that VIX volatility and the pullback in the spoos, to be honest. But we are now headed for 120.13 on Tino's. So do be careful here. Um, you know, look, there's going to be a lot of jiggery pokery going on, but essentially the Bund has left the train station for the downside, and Tino's is getting all ready to go too. So you can see here, Tino's on the 16 minutes, and downside targets hit there on was that Friday's targets? Yeah, hit. A little pullback, can't hold it. So yeah, you probably get a clean test 120, 125s, but downside is in 120.13s and below. All right, for this week, I don't think 120.13s is going to hold up the show. I think actually we need to really start to think about this target for this market 117s, 31's half. I mean, anyone say 3% yield on the bonds? Is that what I'm hearing? Essentially. Okay. So that's T notes. With that, right? Well, that's de-risking. Now that's going to be gold following suit, at least back down to 1900s. Is that what we're going to get? Well, we can have a look at gold now before that happens. Here we are on the daily bars. It looks like, yeah, I mean, right now we're getting support 1929s. Um, is that the trade you want to be on to then get on for the big all-time high push? Maybe, maybe. I don't know. I don't think I have to solve that problem, so I'm not going to try and solve that problem. Um, I think we've given up a decent area of support though, um, on gold, and I just with the bonds the way they are and the yield set to rise aggressively, I just can't justify longs in gold or buying bullion or any of that crap. So I think gold is such a dead trade, to be honest. There it is. Uh, yeah. So let's see. I think we could probably, I get excited if we were to pull back to 1844s in gold, pick up some buyers, maybe even the 19s, as you can see, is well supported here at 19s, and then I'd be looking for the big push for the all-time highs. But apart from that, no, I think there's easier ways to market. Okay, Nat Gas. Just quick mention on Nat Gas. Really strong activity on the open here on Nat Gas. Trying to get up to that 5.717s. Can't do it. Can't live at that altitude right now, so it's got to pull back. There is support at 5.547s. I don't know if we need to pull back to spot 422s. So be careful out there. This thing will rip your face off. It is called the Widowmaker for a reason. It goes very slowly, and then all of a sudden, it's like the craziest market you've ever seen. So, similar to RBOB as well. And then the euro, yeah, I think the euro now is kind of getting ready to get decimated by a dollar that will rise to parity, which has been talked about by the ECB. So if we look at dollar on the weekly, you can see we did have a good old stand back and resistance in this line in the sand area, but the dollar is back. It was sold down off of this area last week. I was selling it. I was looking for the big move down, and the Dixie didn't come, obviously. But now we're getting back through this resistance area. I think, look, it's target upside 100 spot 38. And that's really just written in the stands now. And then kind of down trend target is way up here, about 102 halves or 102 spot 29s. Let's say about 44s. All right, so that's a real full look around the markets right now. I haven't got much else for you this morning, and yeah, listen, have a great session, and do please click to like and subscribe on YouTube if you're watching, and have a good one. See you.